Greetings, world, saints, YouTube, blog readers. Mike here. I had something I wanted to share. I've been looking into pretty heavily. Having a large family and people in my care. I've been doing some research in the Word, in truth, to make sure that I'm doing all things prudent. I wanted to share with you some of that. But as often happens, before I can actually get there, I'm going to have to go back and cover some preliminary. And the study I'm doing is based in the book of Revelation. And many people are obsessed with that and the end of times, the end of the age. I'm not. In fact, I think you need to be prepared for the end of your time all the time. And you do that through obedience, faith, and through Christ. But it doesn't mean we don't, it doesn't mean we ignore the book. It just means we don't focus and obsess on it and let it become an obstacle. But what I want to talk about in this message is the beast. Who is the beast? Who is it that, based out of these scriptures, what do we know about the beast and what can we determine who it is? And a lot of you already know, but I encourage you to fact check me, test all things, and test by the word so that no man can lead you astray. Alright, so we're going to look at a few things scripturally to help identify who the beast is. Because ultimately where I want to get you to is looking at the mark and what the mark very well may be. A lot of people thinking it's a barcode, it may be a social security number. I mean, but we're going to measure that by the word and put it to the test as well. But first we need to figure out whose mark it's going to be, or at least have a good scriptural understanding of who qualifies, who's a candidate. Alright, so I'm going to give you several verses here, and they'll be noted in the article below. So I'm going to blow through it quickly because it's going to be a short message. I'm giving you the scripture and let you go back and research the scripture at your own pace, fact check all this, and then the next message will be more specifically on the mark and the seal. Everyone will have one of two, either the mark or the seal. And so here we go. Revelations 13:4 tells us that the beast will receive its seat and authority from Rome. And so now we'll know that the beast will receive her authority and her seat from Rome. Alright, we know that it will rule the world for exactly 1,260 years. It'll come in and rule for 1,260 years. At which time it will receive a deadly wound, which it will later heal. Receive a deadly wound, which it will later heal. That's Revelations 13:3. Receive a deadly wound, which it will later heal. We know, according to Scripture, that it's both political and religious power, and it is worshipped. That's Revelations 13:4. Revelations 13:4. It's both political, religious power that is worshipped. We know it received a deadly wound, but recovered. We know it ruled for 1,260 years before it received a deadly wound, and we know it received its seat and authority in Rome. We know that according to the book of Daniel 7:25, it will tamper with God's law. And by tamper we mean distort, twist, change, alter, or as I like to call it, just flat out lie. Alright, Daniel 7:25 says that it will tamper with God's law. Revelation 13:1 says its leader will claim to be a God on earth and be able to forgive sins. So his leader will have to be revered as more than a man and be able to issue a forgiveness of sin. That's Revelation 13:1. Revelation 17:5. It is a mother. It will give birth to many. That's Revelation 17:5. A mother that gives birth to many. Revelation 13:7. Will make war against the saints. Make war against the saints. Revelations 14:9 through 10. It has a dreaded mark. Well, there we go. That's what this preliminary is going to be here for you. A lot of you already knew before you heard this message, and some of you have pieced together, hopefully by this time. But we're going to go back and go through here real quickly. Received its seat and authority from Rome. Ruled for 1260 years before it received a deadly wound from which it recovered. Both political and religious power, which is worshipped. Tampered with God's law. Its leader claims to be more than a man, and just dictates for himself that he can forgive sin. Is a mother church, and will have many daughter churches who come out of her. Made war against the saints, and has a dreaded mark. Alrighty, well, there you go. I'm not even going to tell you. I was thinking very seriously about summing it up there for you, but I'm not going to. This shouldn't take you probably about 25 minutes or so to go back and look at these scriptures. I encourage you to do so. Even if you already know, I encourage you to do so. And next message will be more on the mark, and more specifically, the seal. The seal of the Most High, which will protect you from all the terrible things going to happen to those people with the mark. Be encouraged, King.